Now these days, because I have rented 2 rooms of my home, and one of these rooms was my studio, my photo studio. Now I have to, I said, well, I thought that it was a problem, like I will have to put my studio in my bedroom. And it wasn't a problem. It's fantastic. It's just amazing to sleep in my studio. So if in my work there has never been a sort of barrier between life and art, because it's just life and art get totally, it's a fusion between life and art, and my life is my work and my work is my life. Right now, so instead of it being a problem, it's a resource, and it's a proposal that I'm making, because of course everything I experience, and I experience it and I think, hey, that's work, that works, and why don't you try it, you know? And I do believe that this thing of the fusion between life and work is something fantastic, because it means that you're going to use your life and you're going to do, you know, it's going to be healthy, psychologically and physically healthy for you to dedicate, to devote yourself to your life as your work. It's just amazing. And frankly, I mean, I wasn't really, right now, I don't really have money problems. It's just working. So I could actually say, well, then I can afford to not rent the rooms. But perhaps I want to save some money for the first time in my life. And perhaps I'd like to have people around. And that's also true. And so at the beginning I didn't understand why I was doing this, you know, because I was saying to myself, well, why do you rent the rooms? I mean, you can afford that right now to. And now I know, because at the beginning what seemed that could become a problem, like, you know, like how can I make my studio fit in my room? Well, it does fit, and it's just fantastic. I mean, I had all these pictures on the walls, and suddenly, with all this black background everywhere, I'm just like, oh, all those faces who were looking at me, you know, just, you know, it's all black, and it's so peaceful, and I sleep so good here in my studio. And therefore, it's like, yeah, my proposal is like, what's your dream? And what has your dream got to do with your own life? And how can you make that true and make a living out of it? Of course, in this YouTube channel, I mean, I'm not making a living. I'm doing this for free, for the moment. Because yet, I mean, I don't buy subscribers, I don't buy views, so the views that you see are the real ones, and there are quite few. But it's okay, it's okay. I trust that something will happen and that people will start being more interested in listening to these thoughts and feelings as a way, because my proposal is a proposal of artivism, activism with art, and it consists in inviting everyone to look at their shadow, not our shadow physically, but our shadow part, our ugly bits. Talk about them and perhaps expose them and publish them and confess them. Why? Because the shadow part, if we avoid it, I mean, this is the society of avoidance. We avoid our vulnerability, we have to avoid, because it's all full of dynamics of power, and if we want to be powerful, we have to, you know, avoid our vulnerability and avoid showing ourselves as vulnerable because we are afraid that others might step on us. Yeah? And we avoid because, of course, if we want to be successful in life, we have to be happy and show that we are cool, that we're happy, that we are not envious. Envy is one of the things that people should be admitting, I think, because it's natural. We are humans, and I'm doing this. You can see some videos of mine, like my envy of big stars and so on. So admitting all that, looking at that, at every piece of shit that we have, everything that disturbs us, that we're ashamed of, and letting it out and publishing it. That's my proposal. Of course, I know, people say, it's so difficult. But the thing is that if more and more people are going to look at their shadow, acknowledge their shadow part, their shitty bits, their ugly bits, acknowledge them and, well, accept them is a big word because you don't really accept totally, you know, but at least share them instead of hiding them. Share them, letting them out. Then the shadow wouldn't be reigning over the whole planet, because right now the shadow seems to reign all over the planet. I think that there would be less wars, because systemically, if a lot of people are avoiding their shadow, the shadow will explode. And we will have governments such as the one with Donald Trump. And we will have people like Donald Trump being voted by a majority of citizens. I mean, it's like, because it's the shadow that, the shadow doesn't want to be hidden. The shadow is useful because it's in a way, I mean, it's showing us our potential. Through looking at our shadow, we're going to be vulnerable, be humble, and we're going to look at ourselves and see what we should be changing or that we should be improving. And we are more in connection to ourselves and to others. And therefore, when we see other people's shadow, we're not going to judge them like that, because he who has no sin shall throw the first stone. We're going to be more empathic and more understanding and more empathic. So the idea is looking at our own shadow, and we will evolve and we will grow. We will become stronger and wiser and more able to deal with our own vulnerabilities. And therefore, if there is a lot of people who do this work, then the shadow doesn't need to explode like it's exploding right now. And we would be more respectful of each other and of the planet and of animals and of, you know. So I think that that's a possible solution. Very difficult. Difficult that everybody does that, but not so difficult that a lot of people do it. Like, of course, I'm not asking you to do exactly like me, because I know that publishing that is very hard. But at least start looking at your shadow and photograph it and publish it. Publish some pictures of that speak about this shadow, and share it with a friend. Share things with a friend. Admit your defects, you know, show your defects. Yeah.